Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Favorite tweets and retweets. Here are tweets I've written and those I've retweeted since just June 1st that might be of interest to you, my YouTube viewers. First, the tweets. Long shot prediction. The Democratic Party, seeing the polymarket prediction that Mamdani will very likely become mayor of the nation's most important city, New York City, will convince the only person who could beat him in the short time before the election, Chelsea Clinton. If I were younger, I would tackle the moonshot of reinventing how we choose career. It would, of course, be AI-centric to merge the massive information out there with the right factors within each person. Anyone smart and driven enough to tackle that? The media portrays people who are wearing suits as usually sleazy. Maybe because of that, when I see someone in a suit, I hold my wallet tight. How about you? Do beware of advertisers' phony deadlines. Usually, after the deadline, they create a new deadline. They're capitalizing on FOMO, fear of missing out. Also, advertisers, quote, celebrating a holiday or the organization's anniversary are rarely true sales, just another come-on. As I turn 75, a definition of elderhood might be when your next year is ever more likely to be worse than the previous. Many nonprofits brag about empowering the, quote, underserved. Well, for decades now, disproportionate focus has been on them, underserved. And if you were running an organization, would you allocate power equally, give extra to the underserved, or to people who would do best? Google search results, including its AI summary, have a heavy liberal thumb on the scale. For example, I asked, why are white men being erased? The Google search answer? It's not true. Well, then why, when I search Google images on positive terms like kind, successful, or scientist, you see few white men? But if you search on negative terms like sleazy or lazy, mostly white men. Chicago and New York have had socialist mayors. All communist countries have failed, and yet socialist with communist views Zoran Mamdani has an overwhelming lead in the polls to be New York's next mayor. The appeal of free goodies trumps rationality. A front-page article in the Wall Street Journal lambasts companies for expecting long work hours. Well, the most competent, contented, and well-off people I know, most of them at least, want to work long hours. They deem that a better use of time than what they would otherwise be doing. The foundational question: would the next dollars or hours of your life be spent redistributing yet more from society's contributors to the, quote, least among us, or left in the pockets of those more likely to contribute to increasing gross world happiness? And now a few retweets. Lawrence Summers, who was Obama's Treasury Secretary, wrote, "Rent control is the second best way to destroy a city after bombing. And because of what it leads to in terms of underinvestment in repairing, maintaining, and constructing new apartments, I think this is likely to exacerbate rather than improve issues around housing affordability in New York. This would be a gross policy error by Zoran Mamdani." Open-minded Approach is the name of this person's Twitter handle. He writes, or she, "Here is how the elites are partying by flying 90 private jets to Italy to attend Jeff Bezos' $50 to $100 million wedding. All those self-described, quote, climate change activists, living like there's no tomorrow, hypocrites, people like Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, the Kardashians, Leonardo DiCaprio, etc., all promote the, quote, human-driven climate change narrative while quietly building doomsday bunkers for themselves." Byron York wrote, "Looking at State Department documents, it appears the department went from 57,340 total employees in 2007 to 72,895 in 2015 to 80,214 in 2024. So it grew by nearly 23,000 employees before the, quote, devastating cut of 1,300. Elon Musk wrote, "Interest payments already consume 25% of all government revenue. If the massive deficit spending continues, there will only be money for interest payments and nothing else. No Social Security, no medical, no defense, nothing." Oh, this is not a retweet. This is something I wrote. Bay Area government will go to great ends to force us out of our cars and into mass transit, where we will waste time and lose privacy. For example, despite our paying head-shaking taxes here in Oakland, its government claims that it doesn't have the money to fix those zillion potholes, very much like a third world country in terms of the potholes, the roads. Yet it has plenty of money to keep funding programs that don't work but sound good and get votes. U.S. House Representative Kevin Kiley wrote this, "An astounding 1/3 of community college applications in California are fake. They're just used for financial aid fraud. Following our letter to the Secretary of Education, the department is now implementing new identity verification requirements." Jash Jolani. Only Ayn Rand was smart enough to predict that incompetence and envy of excellence will lead to dystopian social outcomes. Tommy Robinson, his handle is Tommy Robinson New Era, wrote, "Imagine hating Jews so much that you end up defending a terrorist regime that literally kills women for showing their hair." And finally, this is a retweet. "I love mankind. It's people I can't stand," said by Charles M. Schulz, creator of the Peanuts cartoon. Anyway, those are some favorite tweets and retweets. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel, and certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 35 books. Perhaps most relevant is A Dose of Reality, but all 35 are on Amazon. In any event, I thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.